Hello students, welcome to English class. Today we are going to learn a poem from your first flight book, that is A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. So before begin this poem, let us know about the poet himself. Now who is the poet? The poet is Leslie Norris. Leslie Norris was a prize-winning Welsh poet. Okay, and he was a short story writer also. He was a short story writer. He taught at academic institution. He was a professor too. He taught at academic institution in Britain and USA, including Brigham Young University. Okay, now this poem comprises 5 stanzas, and each stanza consists of 4 lines, and the entire poem followed the rhyme scheme, that is ABCD. That is what we come to know afterwards. Okay, now actually in one sense we can say that this poem also very much relevant to this situation also. After reading this poem, we will make out the situation. See, when the tiger, a tiger in the zoo, when the word tiger comes in front of us, we just remember what image comes to our mind. The image is the tiger is a wild animal. It is ferocious. Okay, its ferociousness, the image of the ferociousness come in front of us. You can say the tiger roars, the tiger rage, the tiger snarls. Okay, snarling. Okay, this type of image comes in front of us. Means the tiger is very much ferocious. But here the title of the poem is A Tiger in the Zoo. Now it's quite different, no? It's quite different for us. When a tiger kept in the zoo, how it should be. Okay, now see, today's situation, for the pandemic situation, now see, whenever we just go to a zoo, we feel very happy. A lot of enjoyment that we get in the zoo after seeing that animals are in the zoo, isn't it? So we just make fun of them. We used to make fun of them, all of we. That now the situation comes in such a way in front of us. Now we are feeling that means we are just make out the situation now, that if a animal kept in the zoo, how is their feeling? Because we ourselves are now in the zoo, in the cage. Now all of you know that we have to stay at home. This is the one way to keep ourselves safe from this pandemic. Now in one sense we can say we are in a confined space, in a limited space. We cannot go out. We are nowadays we are unable to go out. Now what is our situation? We feel bored. We are not ready to accept it, but we have to. This is our situation. Nobody is happy. Are you happy? No. Nobody is happy now because we are kept in the zoo. That is our home. Okay. Now you make out the situation of the animals when they are kept in the zoo. When you are keeping a pet at your home. Now see, God has created this world, you can say, these creatures. He has created, the Almighty has created all the creatures in the world. That is what we believe, and we, the human being, are the greatest creature. Okay, and apart from this, he has given different characteristic. The Almighty has given different characteristic to us. Now, man is the greatest creature because of his brain. He has the thinking power. The animals also have given several characteristics. Now, see, if you look at the birds have wings. We do not have. For what? To fly in the sky. And if you are keep it as a pet and keep it in a case and make fun and enjoy of it, that is very bad. Okay, now you can realize that it should be seen in the sky to fly. And same in the case of other animals too. As for instance, a tiger, the image is ferociousness. His characteristic is to show wildness. So it should not be kept in the zoo. It should be in its natural habitat, that is in the forest. And this is the theme of the poem. The first theme is what? The first theme is that we have seen. After reading this story, you will come to know the helplessness and the pain of the caged tiger. And second theme, you can say that animals should not be kept in the zoo, or animals should not be caged. They should be left in their natural habitat, natural environment, that is in the forest or jungle. So that is the theme of that is what the poet wants to say through this beautiful poem. Okay, let's read about the poem. Now here first of all he has given some introduction. The poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. Now here what the poet is telling, in this poem the poet actually compares in this poem the poet is compare the life of a tiger in the zoo and its natural environment, that is in the forest, isn't it? And actually in this poem he also emphasizes on the fact that animals should be left in the natural environment, that is in the forest. In addition to this, he is talking about the freedom too. Okay, now after that he is telling, read the poem silently once and say which stanzas speak about the tiger in the zoo and which ones speak about the tiger in the jungle. That is what we come to know after reading the particular poem. Then which stanza is talking about, as we know that the setting of the poem is the contrast. First contrast is when the tiger is kept in the zoo, and another setting is in its natural habitat, that is in the forest or in the jungle. Now after reading the poem we come to know which stanza is talking about the tiger when it is in the zoo, and which stanza is talking about when it is in its natural habitat. Okay, now this means the poet wants to give us the message that tiger or wild, you can say any animals should be left in the natural environment. That is what the poet wants to say through the poem. Okay, let's begin the poem. He stalks in his vivid strides the few steps of his cage. I'll give you a line by line explanation, and I will give you the word meaning too, new words meaning. He stalks in his vivid strides the few steps of his cage. Now, what is the meaning of stalks here? Stalks here means follows. Stalks here means follows. And what is the meaning of vivid here? Having vivid here vivid stripes. Vivid here means you can say that having deep and you can say bright colors, having deep bright colors, okay. Here in this poem the poet is telling he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his case. The poet says that the tiger who is confined in the zoo, the tiger here, he here means the tiger itself. The poet just instead of it he uses he for the tiger. The tiger stalks in his vivid stripes means the poet says that the tiger who is here this stanza is talking about the tiger that is in the zoo. He's telling that the tiger who is confined in the zoo is move around the case under the bright colored skin. Yes, having the bright stripes, all of you know that is the color of his skin, very bright, isn't it? And stripes are there. Now he says on paths of he's telling that he father said the few steps of his case. He father says that the tiger can take only few steps. What he said? He father says that the tiger can only take few steps. Why? Because the space of the case is very limited. So the case is very small and the space is very limited. Okay, so it is not easy for him to move around. Okay, because of the limited space, because of the not very larger space, because the tiger itself is moving around the jungle, but here in this case it has to move around a limited space. Okay, means the case is very small for him. Now he again it said that on paths of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Now paths here means you can say that underside of the tiger's paw. You can say here paths means here the paws of a tiger. The paws of a tiger. Means the underside of the tiger's paw. The underside of the tiger's paw is just like a velvet, very soft. It's talking about the feet. Okay, what is it? It is very soft, means that is pads of velvet quiet. Underside of the velvet quiet means underside of the tiger's paw. That is talking about the underside of the tiger's paw. That is one cannot hear his footsteps. One can in his quiet reach. Here it means that the poet wants to say one cannot hear the sound of his footsteps. Why? Because it is very soft. It is just like the velvet. Velvet, all of you know, the paws are covered with very soft. All of you know about the velvet. Okay, the paws are covered with velvet, and that is why when the tiger is walking around the case, he's moving around the case, the sound is unable to heard for somebody. One cannot hear the voice of the tiger's foot because his paws are very soft. It is actually this is the characteristic of the tiger. Any wild animal you can see, it is the characteristic of the wild animal. Why? Because they have to move around very silently to catch its prey. So this is one kind of you can say the characteristic of the wild animal, for instance a tiger. So one cannot hear the tiger's foot because he is moving very silently as his paws are very soft, means just like the velvet. That's why it cannot be hurt by somebody. Okay, and he's moving around. Now here the poet wants to say, in this stanza the poet actually means to say that he wants to just control his, because he is very much ferocious, but in the case he cannot do anything. So here the poet means to say that the tiger tries to control his anger by moving the limited space quietly. Okay, now what is the poet wants to say? The poet shows us that his anger. He wants to control his anger by keeping silent work, by keeping silent, or by quietly moving around the case. Okay, because why his anger? Why is because he is not free. Why is anger? Because he is not free, and he is very much sad. That's why, because they are very ferocious, but now they understood that they cannot do anything because they are not free. He is unhappy because he is not free. Now he is in a limited space. He is confined in a limited space. That's why, to control his anger, he is controlling his anger by quietly moving around the case. That is what the poet wants to say in the first stanza. Okay. Now he should be lurking in a shadow. He should be lurking in a shadow. Sliding through long grass. Now what is the meaning of lurking? Lurking. What is the meaning of lurking? Lurking here means hiding. You can say lurking. You can write remaining hidden so as to wait in ambush. Ambush here means fight. Ambush here means fight. Okay, ambush here means actually fight. Lurking here means remaining hidden so as to wait in ambush. Here he wants to say that he should be lurking. Sorry, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where pumped deer pass. He should be lurking in shadow. He should be hidden where? In shadow. Okay, lurking means remaining hidden so as to wait in ambush. Ambush means fight. He has to hide himself where? In the amongst the long grass. Long grass, where we find it? We find it in the forest. Now here the poet wants to say that he should not be he should be that is in the forest. He should be hiding in the forest amongst the long grass. Long grass, we find it in the jungle, isn't it? Now the poet wants to say that he is, means the tiger should be found in the jungle where he used to hide in the amongst the long grasses. Okay, now why? To catch the prey, isn't it? Now near the water hole where pumped deer pass. So the tiger is actually the tiger is always in the jungle. The tiger is always found where? It can always found to prey, especially which place? Near the water hole. Near the water hole. Why? Because animals come there to drink water, and he used to hide there so as to catch his prey and to have the prey means to just to eat the prey, just to prey the just to prey, to catch the prey and eat it. Okay. Now he said he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Now here the poet wants to say the tiger should not be in the zoo. Here the poet is telling he should not be in the zoo. Where he should be? It should be near the forest, hiding in the long grass, hiding among the long grass, or where or shadow, or in the shadow, means in the darkness, okay, or in the shadow, and looking for animals. Looking for what? Looking for animals to drink water near the water hole. Especially he has mentioned also, especially the plump deer. Plump deer here means, here plump deer. Plump deer here means a fat deer. A fat deer. Okay, especially whom? Especially a fat deer that might come and drink water. Okay, and in that particular time he will catch his prey and eat it. Okay, that is what the poet wants to say in the second stanza. Correct? Now let's move to the third stanza. Okay, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Okay, he should be snarling around around houses at the jungle's edge. Now what is the meaning of snarling? What is the meaning of snarling? Here, what is the meaning of snarling? Makes an angry. Makes an angry or warning sound. Warning sound. Okay, makes an angry or warning sound, you can say. Now he say, the poet is telling he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Now in this stanza you can make out, no, this is here the poet is telling about the ferociousness of the tiger. Now he is telling that he should be snarling around houses. Now there might be houses at the edge of the forest. Edge of the forest means the last part, that is the end of the forest. There might be some houses at the jungle's edge. Okay. Now bearing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Now here we have seen all the ferociousness, all the wildness of the tiger. Okay. Now bearing his white fangs, his claws. Okay. Now what is the meaning of bearing? Bearing here means showing. Showing, you can say exposing. Okay. Here you can say exposing also. Now here it is said that fangs. Fangs here means large, sharp teeth of a tiger. Large sharp teeth of a tiger. Okay. And it is a sharp tooth of a tiger, you can say, because it is the actually this is the canine tooth of a dog or wolf, like that. Okay, this is the sharp teeth, fangs, and his claws. His claws means his long nails. Okay, terrorizing the village. Terrorizing the village means the village people. The people who lived in that particular village, that is located in the edge of the forest, in the last part of the jungle. Okay, now here in this stanza the poet wants to say that there might be houses at the edge of the forest by showing all things, that is snarling by how? by snarling. Snarling, making noise, making a noise, making an angry warning sound. That is the noise of a tiger. Tigers, the way it just make a sound, no, that is known as snarling, making a noise. And baring his white fangs by showing his white teeth, that long sharp teeth, and his claws, his long nails. This is the situation, this is the characteristics of a tiger, by how he is just terrorizing the people who is living near the village that is located at the edge of the forest. Now, the poet wants to say that the tiger should not be in the cage. He should be in the jungle. He should be in the forest to do all these things. What is that? To snarling, just be by snarling, he should be terrorize the people. How? By snarling, by showing his fangs, means by showing his sharp teeth and claws. The images comes to you, comes in front of you now. How the dogs are keeping on snarling, and the image of its showing its teeth, showing its nails, isn't it? The image comes in front of every one of us, isn't it? Now, this is the ferociousness of the tiger. Means the poet wants to say the tiger should not be in the cage, it should be in the forest by doing all these things. What is that? By snarling, baring his white to fangs or his claws. Means either looking for a prey, means the poet wants to say he should do all these things. What is that? In the second stanza also he said that either looking for a prey near the water pole, or terrorizing the people, or terrorizing the village people, live in the houses which is located in the edge of the forest. Correct? So up to this for today's class. Okay, now the next two stanza is left over, that is the second part afterwards. Before begin this fourth and fifth stanza, I want to clear you the literary devices used in this poem. In this stanzas. Okay, now you must understand that in the first stanza is talking about the tiger. When the tiger is in the zoo, the tiger is actually the natural habitat of a tiger is to move around the jungle, but here he is in the limited space, and he is unable to do all these things. So he is very much sad, he is very much angry, and for this, as he is angry, he is showing his control his angriness, that how by quietly moving around the limited space. In the second stanza and third stanza, the poet is telling that a tiger should not be in the cage, he should be in the jungle. He should be in the jungle, either looking for a prey near the water pole, or terrorizing the village people who lives in the houses of the particular village that is located in the edge of the forest. Okay, now let us begin the literary devices of the first stanza. Okay, now here in the first stanza we have seen the first literary devices, that is, in the first stanza we have seen, first of all we will see the you can say that is rhyme scheme of the particular stanza. That is, what is the rhyme scheme of the particular stanza? That is, the particular stanza, he stalks in his vivid strides the few stars of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. As I told you earlier also, the entire poem that is followed the rhyme scheme, that is ABCV. Now here stripes, if we considered it, if we mark it as A, okay, if we mark it as A, now cage B, now quite C, now cage is rhyming with rage. Now the overall or altogether rhyme scheme in the first stanza is ABCD, first stanza. What is the rhyme scheme of first stanza? Entire poem. If you look at the poem, you will see that the rhyme scheme that is followed by the poet is ABCD. Okay, because case is rhyming with rage. Okay, now clear? Now let us talk about the literary devices. Literary devices or the poetic devices used in this poem. First of all, we have seen the personification. First of all, personification. The poet says about personification. Here, the tiger is personified. Have you seen he? He here personifies tiger, isn't it? Instead of it, the poet uses he here. Okay, so here the tiger is personified as he, isn't it? So this device is known as personification, correct? Now here next device is metaphor. Here we have seen metaphor. Okay, now here we have seen metaphor. Here see, on pads of velvet white. Here tiger's paw is compared to a velvet, isn't it? Where? In the third line. Have you seen in the third line? Where here tiger, why it is like that? The soft skin of the tiger. The soft skin of the tiger's paw is compared with the velvet. That is very soft also. Okay, so here in this line the poet uses metaphor. Okay. Now next is enjambment. Next is enjambment. Next is enjambment. Enjambment, everyone knows the same thought is continuing in the second line also. Have you seen he stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage. Okay, the same, and the first line is continuing in the second line. And have you seen a comma there, isn't it? So here we can see that the poet uses enjambment. The same thought is continuing in the next line too. So in this way the poet uses enjambment, correct? Now next is, you can say, repetition. Repetition. Where we have seen the repetition, here see, see, velvet quite rich. Velvet quite, here the word quite is repeatedly used by the poet. So we can say that the poet uses repetition here by using the word quite, correct? Now next is imagery. Next is imagery. Imagery. Now how the poet uses imagery? When poet creates a scene here in this line, the poet creates a scene in front of the reader, in front of us. How? See, here the poet is trying to give an image of the tiger, that we can clearly visualize the tiger. isn't it? See, walking now see, he's walking slowly in the limited space of the cage. That is, he stalks in his vivid strides the few steps of his cage. Now the image comes in front of you now, all of you, that a tiger is moving around the cage. So the poet wants to create that image in front of us, okay, by showing imagery here. We can just see the image of the right now when we go through this line. No, he stalks in his vivid style the few steps of his cage on paths of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Now silently the tiger is moving. That image comes in front of us. In this way the poet uses imagery. The poet creates a you can say creates a scene in front of us of the tiger who is moving around the cage itself in the limited space of the cage. Correct? Now next is you can say the oxymoron. You can say that oxymoron is where. Now this is a new thing for you, isn't it? Here, when we see the use of two opposite adjectives together, the use of two opposite adjectives. Here, in this line, in the first stanza, the last line, in his quiet rage. See, quiet and rage, the adjectives, both are opposite adjectives, because quiet is no noise at all, isn't it? Quiet is no noise at all. And rage here means extreme noise, isn't it? Extreme angerness. Extreme angerness. So both are the opposite adjective placed together by the poet. And this type of devices is known as oxymoron. Clear it? Here, where quiet. Quiet is what? Quiet is no noise at all. Rage is extreme angerness, means extreme noise. Correct? Now both the adjectives put together by the poet. So this type of literary devices is known as oxymoron. Correct? Now next is in the first stanza. Next is assonance. Assonance, can you remember? Assonance is repetition of the vowel sound. Here in his vivid strides. In his vivid strides. In his vivid strides. In his vivid strides. Now see, in his vivid strides, here I sound. I sound is repeatedly used. I sound is very prominent, isn't it? So this type of literary devices is known as assonance. Correct? In his vivid strides. I sound is repeatedly used and I sound is very prominent here in this line. So this type of literary devices is known as assonance. Now here we have seen the uses of consonants also. Consonants. Where consonant stalks his strides. Now stalks his strides. Now as sa sound. Okay, this sound is prominent here and this is a consonant sound. This is a consonant sound and this type of literary devices, when it is used by the poet, is known as consonants. Clear? Okay. Now this is the literary devices of the first stanza. Now moving on to the second stanza. Second stanza. Okay. Okay. Moving on to the second stanza. Here we have seen that uses of personification. First of all, personification. Personification. Correct. Personification he. Here the poet uses he for tiger. Here tiger is personified. The poet personifies a tiger by using he instead of it. Correct. Now first one is personification. Then we have seen enjambment. Enjambment. Okay, enjambment means the same thought is running to the next line like that. Repetition of the lines without giving any pause, isn't it? Okay, the same thought is running through 2 or 3 lines, 2 or more lines you can say, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Now here in this stanza, in the second stanza, have you seen sliding through long grass? See line number 2, line number 3 and line number 4. Sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Now same thought is running in the second to third to fourth line, correct? Now in this way the poet uses enjambment here. Have you seen? No pause, no punctuation mark is there. The same thought is running through to second line number 2nd, 3rd and 4th of the second stanza, correct? Now here we have seen imagery. Again imagery. The entire poem we have seen the imagery. Imagery, personification, imagery. Okay, imagery. Now read out the second stanza. See, lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water pole. Okay, where plump deer pass. Now the image of the tiger comes in front of us, where he is lurking in the shadow or lurking in the long grass. Okay, he's hiding in the shadow. He's lurking in the amongst the long grass, and he is waiting where near the water pole to fetch his prey. That is plump deer, isn't it? So here we can see the image of the tiger. The poet is trying to show a image in front of the reader. So in this way the poet is using imagery in these lines, correct? Now moving to the third stanza. Moving to the third stanza. Third stanza. First of all we have seen personification. Again personification, third stanza. How the poet uses he to personify tiger instead of it, isn't it? He should be snarling snarling around houses. Here the tiger to personify. Here he is tiger is personified by using he instead of it, correct? Now enjambment. Again enjambment we have seen, where we have seen enjambment. See, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Same line is continuing in the next line. Same thought is continuing in the next line without giving any pause or without giving any punctuation mark, correct? So here the poet uses enjambment, correct? Now here the poet again uses onomatopoeia. Now see, here the poet uses onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, this device is, what is this? Using words to denote sound. Using some words to denote sound. Here we have seen in the in a snarling here a sound created by the tiger, a sound created by the tiger. Now what is onomatopoeia? That is to denote the sound of a, you can say that using such words that denote the sound or giving a dramatic effect, you can say. Okay. Now here in this stanza, that is in the third stanza, the poet uses snarling. Snarling is what? Snarling is a sound created by the tiger. That is what you know. Snarling is onomatopoeia. Where snarling? Snarling is a sound that is created by a tiger. So here in this way the poet uses onomatopoeia. Okay, here also we have see the where we have seen that he should be snarling around houses. Okay, here see we have seen assonance. 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 Where should around houses. Should around houses. Should here should around houses. See, O, O, O. Here O sound is very much prominent. So repetition of the O sound, which is very prominent, and it is used in two or more consecutive words. That is, he should be snarling around houses. Should around houses. Here O sound is very much prominent. Okay, that is the literary device which is known as assonance is used here by the poet itself. Okay, so this is the literary devices of the first three stanzas. Okay, clear? I think you have understand the meaning, the line by line explanation that I have given. I have given you the literary devices also. Now go through the poem. In the next part, I will continue with the fourth and fifth stanza. Till then, goodbye.